Okay, so hello and welcome to me and Maths. Welcome to the live stream session of today. All right, so we'll wait for some few minutes and then we can be ready to begin the today's live session. Okay, so let's wait for some kids. All right, so those who are there in the live chat, just write down your names in the live chat. Okay, write down your names in the live chat so that I can recognize you all. So any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down your name. Okay, since this is the live stream session of class 9, so rarely any student joins. So we will be, let us say, going through this live stream, keeping in mind that the students would be watching this live stream session later. Okay, so if any student is there in the live chat, because I can see three students, two students are there. If they can just drop down their names in the live chat, then we will be good to go with the session. All right. Okay, so we will be doing quadrilaterals today. So the topic for today's live stream session would be quadrilaterals, and we will see how to tackle the problems on quadrilaterals, whether the midpoint theorem is there, or some other theorems are there, the converse are there. Okay, so as always, before beginning the live stream, we always announce the star student of the week, right? So let us see who is the star student of the week. So Adam Johan is the star student of the week once again. So many congratulations. It is very hard to keep up with, let us say, when a student, let us say, keeps up the good work, right? He consistently delivers the performance. So many congratulations to Adam Johan. Okay. So now what do we have? We have an unboxing question, right? So a mother has six girls and each of them has a brother. How many children are there? Right? So I think we have the answer already here. So a mother has six girls and each of them has a brother. So how many children are there, right? So the answer would be seven. Why? Because each girl is having the same brother, right? So that is why the answer would be seven. Okay, next we have the voice of learners chat. We have Excel maths, that is Rohan is here, Neetu Kumar is here, Abhinaya is here, Viraj is here, then Kirat Virdi is here. Okay, so many congratulations to all the students who have, let us say, appeared on this voice of learners screen. So many congratulations. Keep it up, guys, and let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes. We can see if the students are here or not, and then we can be joining the today's class, so what we will do about is quadrilaterals. We will learn about quadrilaterals, their properties, how we can tackle the questions, what all things are required, what is the use of midpoint theorem, what is the use of converse, right? So if any student who is there in the live chat, just drop down your names who have joined late or so. Okay, so before moving on with quadrilaterals, let us say what topics we need to keep in mind is the first topic, that is midpoint theorem. The next one is converse, right? Converse of midpoint theorem. So what does midpoint theorem say? The midpoint theorem says that if a line joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle, then this side is what? This is parallel to the third side. For example, if a triangle is there, okay? If a triangle is there, ABC. So let us suppose D is the midpoint of AB and E is the midpoint of AC. यानी कि D is the midpoint, D AB का midpoint है और E AC का midpoint है. तो जो लाइन सेगमेंट DE को ज्वाइन करेगा, right? This would be parallel to what? The third side, that is BC. So ये होता है midpoint theorem. Also this third side is what? जो साइड पैरेलल है, this DE is equal to half of the third side. Yes or no? DE is equals to half of the third side. So we know about midpoint theorem, है ना, कि अगर कोई भी ट्रायंगल में दो साइड्स है उसके मिड पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन करेंगे तो वो जो साइड होगी वो थर्ड साइड के पैरेलल होगी और उसका हाफ होगी, राइट? सो इसका कॉन्वर्स भी ट्रू होता है कि अगर कोई लाइन जो पैरेलल है थर्ड साइड के, राइट, सो वो क्या करेगी और एक मिड पॉइंट को ज्वाइन कर रही है तो देन इट वुड बी ज्वाइनिंग द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ द अदर साइड एज वेल, है ना? तो ये कॉन्वर्स हो गया. सो दिस इज अबाउट कॉन्वर्स. Next, what do we have? The properties of, let us say, quadrilateral, right? How many types of quadrilaterals we have, right? So we have a square, we have rectangle, then we have rhombus, right? And then what do we have? Let us say we have trapeziums. So in a square, all the sides are equal and the diagonals bisect each other. Yes or no? Diagonals bisect each other, yes or no? And the diagonals of a square are equal as well, yes or no? And they intersect at 90 degrees. जो स्क्वायर है उसकी सारी साइड्स बराबर हैं, उसके डायगोनल्स भी बराबर हैं और डायगोनल्स भी एक दूसरे को बाइसेक्ट कर रहे हैं और जो हमारे डायगोनल्स हैं वो 90 डिग्री पर इंटरसेक्ट करेंगे, ठीक है? Next, what do we have? Next, we have rectangle. In rectangle, opposite sides are equal. Diagonals bisect each other and diagonals are equal. Right? Then we have rhombus. In rhombus, all the sides are equal and the diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree angle. But the diagonals for both of them, they are different, right? So D1 is the one diagonal, then D2 is the other diagonal, right? Then of course we have parallelogram, right? Parallelogram. In parallelogram, diagonals are equal and bisect each other, right? And what is there? That the opposite sides are equal. The opposite sides are equal. Then these are, or let us say, the basic properties of, let us say, 4 types of quadrilaterals that we would be seeing, है ना? ट्रपेजियम को हम उतना यूज नहीं करेंगे, बट लेट अस से ट्रपेजियम ऑपोजिट साइड्स आर पैरेलल, दैट्स इट, ठीक है? अभी पैरेललोग्राम से रिलेटेड कोई भी एक प्रॉपर्टी होगी तो वो क्या होगी? दैट इफ टू पैरेललोग्राम्स आर देयर, है ना, इफ टू पैरेललोग्राम्स आर देयर एंड दे आर ऑन द सेम बेसिस, if two parallelograms are there and they are on the same base and between the same parallels, तो let us say ये एक पैरेलल लाइन हो गई और एक ये पैरेलल लाइन हो गई, तो दोनों पैरेललोग्राम्स सेम बेस पर हैं और दे आर बिटवीन द सेम पैरेलल लाइंस आल्सो. So इसका मतलब let us say if this is parallelogram A B C D and this is let us say PQ. So area of parallelogram ABCD is equals to area of parallelogram PQCD, है ना। एक ये प्रॉपर्टी हमको ध्यान में रखना है, राइट। दिस इज द थ्योरम ऑफ द लेट अस से क्वाड्रिलैटरल्स चैप्टर, है ना। तो दोनों जो पैरेललोग्राम्स होते हैं उन दोनों का एरिया क्या होता है, इक्वल होता है, राइट। अब ऐसा क्यों होता है, वाई दिस इज बिकॉज सी द पैरेललोग्राम्स एरिया इज व्हाट, बेस इनटू ऑल्टीट्यूड, राइट, बेस इनटू ऑल्टीट्यूड। तो अगर इसका बेस देखो, दोनों पैरेललोग्राम्स का सेम बेस है, राइट, बट ऑल्टीट्यूड भी देखा जाए तो ऑल्टीट्यूड भी तो दोनों का सेम ही होगा, राइट। इफ लेट अस से दिस इज A1 देन दिस इज आल्सो A1, राइट। सो एरिया वुड बी व्हाट, A1 into B, इसका भी हो जाएगा, A1 into B इसका भी हो जाएगा, दैट इज व्हाई देयर एरियाज आर इक्वल। But if I say, let us say if a triangle is there, it is on the same base and between the same parallels, then area of triangle would be half of area of parallelogram. क्यों, क्योंकि वहां पर फिर सीधे सीधे हाफ इंटू बेस इंटू ऑल्टीट्यूड आ जाएगा, राइट। बट यहाँ पर क्या आ जाएगा पैरेललोग्राम में, इट वुड बी सिंपली A1 into B, राइट। सो इसीलिए हाफ हो गया। सो दीज ऑल आर लेट अस से मेजर प्रॉपर्टीज जिसको हमको ध्यान में रखना है, राइट। सो पैरेललोग्राम्स अगर सेम बेसिस में है और सेम पैरेलल में है बीच में, तो देन व्हाट विल हैपन, देन दे आर व्हाट, देयर एरियाज आर इक्वल, है ना। अगर ट्रायंगल और पैरेललोग्राम है और दे आर बिटवीन द सेम बेसिस एंड बिटवीन द सेम पैरेलल, तो ट्रायंगल का एरिया क्या है, हाफ हो जाएगा उस पैरेललोग्राम के, राइट। नाउ वन मोर थिंग टू कीप इन माइंड इज बेटा दैट लेट अस से दिस इज अ पैरेललोग्राम, है ना, और लेट अस से ये एक ट्रायंगल है और ये एक ट्रायंगल है। लेट अस से दिस इज A B C D एंड लेट अस से दिस इज P, दिस इज Q, है ना। सो इन दिस केस एरिया ऑफ ट्रायंगल DPQ इज नॉट इक्वल टू हाफ ऑफ ABCD, है ना। क्यों नहीं होगा, क्योंकि यहां पर बेसिस डिफरेंट हो गए, क्योंकि यहां पर बेसिस डिफरेंट, बेसिस आर डिफरेंट। दिस इज बेस DQ and this whole is base DC for ABCD, yes or no? Now the bases become different, so bases equal होने चाहिए। This means the bases should be equal, then only the area would be half for triangle, okay। So these are all the properties which we will use in today's class, है ना। So this is how we will be doing the questions for today, okay। Now what is the first question we have? We have a column and another column, तो उसमें कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज लिखी हुई हैं in column 1 and then we have the name of quadrilateral in the column 2, so we have to match these columns, okay, we have to match these columns। So angle bisectors of a parallelogram form a dash। So we'll solve this question also and then we'll understand in the core concepts how to solve these type of questions, then only we'll take the answers, okay। So we have angle bisectors of a parallelogram form a dash, the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of square is a dash, then the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of a rectangle and then at last the figure formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of a quadrilateral। So we'll see how to solve this A part। Angle bisectors of a parallelogram, right। So सबसे पहली चीज we have to draw a parallelogram, we have to draw a parallelogram। तो चलो let's draw a parallelogram, है ना। So let us say this is a parallelogram ABCD, this is A, this is B, this is C and then this is D। So angle bisectors of a parallelogram, see diagonals angle bisectors नहीं होते हैं, the diagonals are not the angle bisectors, okay। the diagonals are not angle bisectors for a parallelogram. इतना ध्यान रखना, the diagonals are not angle bisectors. Okay, so chalo, let us construct an angle bisector. So let us say this is an angle bisector and we have another angle bisector for angle C. Okay, then we have another bisector for angle A, है ना, and we have another bisector for angle B. So let us say this is PQRS. So we have to determine this PQRS is what? This PQRS is a rectangle, this PQRS is a square or anything else, है ना? So we have to determine what is this PQRS. Okay, so we know that opposite sides are parallel. AB is parallel to CD and BC is parallel to AD, correct? So this means that this whole angle A and this whole angle D would be co-interior angles. So angle A plus angle D is equals to what? 180 degrees, because these are co-interior angles, yes or no? So now we can say that these are angle bisectors, so they will be half, yes or no? So half of angle A plus half of angle D is equals to 1 by 2 of 180, right? We multiplied this equation with a half, so that is why half of angle A plus half of angle D is equals to what? 90, yes or no? So then हम ये interpret कर सकते हैं, we can interpret this that the two angles, right, in triangle, let us say ASD. So this angle is, the sum is what? The sum is 90. So automatically this angle S would be what? 90 by angle sum property in triangle ASD, right? In triangle ASD, right? So half of angle A plus half of angle D plus angle S is equals to what? 180 degree, right? So angle S would be equals to what? 180 degree, and this value is whole 90, so subtracted this value, right? Or let us say, if you want, let us say more easier or in more detailed, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? 90 plus angle S, yes or no? 90 degree plus angle X, so angle X would be 90. Similarly, we can say that all these angles would be 90. We can do this, yes or no? So then we can say what? This ABCD is what? ABCD is a rectangle. This ABCD is a rectangle, beta, ठीक है? So then we can say that for A it is Q, right? So for A it is Q. So for A it is Q, then we have B and C options. As of now they are correct. So now let us solve this second part. I hope you guys are all understanding it, है ना? Okay, so the quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of a square. Quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent side. Let us say this is a square. So for example, this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, and this is the midpoint. Let us say this is ABCD and this is PQRS again, okay? So we join them, right? What we need to prove? That the quadrilateral formed, right? So we formed all of these. Okay, so how we have to prove that now? See, these all angles are what? 90 degrees, yes or no, bachcho? These all angles are 90 degrees. So now these are midpoints, right? If the whole side is, let us say X, if the whole side, let us say this whole side is 2X, okay? Let us assume that this whole side is 2X. So the midpoint would be X, X and X, yes or no? X here also, everywhere this would be X, yes or no? Because all of them are midpoints. So we can apply Pythagoras theorems in, let us say, all these triangles. So let us consider one triangle SDR, right? Let us assume that in triangle SDR, SD square plus DR square is equal to SR square. So which implies X square plus X square is equals to SR square. So root 2x would be the value of SR, yes or no, bachcho? We can solve this. So SR would be equal to, let us say, SP is equals to PQ is equals to SR, because all these dimensions are same everywhere. So similarly we can find out all these values, right? Similarly we can find out all these values. Similarly we can find out all these values, right? So angle P, sorry, not angle P, we have PS is equals to PQ is equals to QR is equals to SR, right? All these are equal to what? Root 2x. That is why we can say that this is a rhombus, yes or no? That is why what we can say that this is a rhombus or square as of now. All the sides are equal. All these sides are equal. What do we have? We have option for B as R, right? So we need to prove that this is a square. How can we prove that this is a square also? As of now we only have, let us say, proved that all these sides are equal. Okay. Now we have to prove that this angle is also what? This angle is also equal. The quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of pairs of adjacent sides of a square is what? Is a square. So we need to prove that this PQRS is a square. How we'll prove that this PQRS is a square? Right? So we need to do a construction. So what do we construct? We join these two sides. Let us say the diagonals. So join what? Join AC and BD, right? Join AC and BD. BC or AC and BD को हम लोग join करेंगे. So now these two are what? Midpoint. So this means that this would be parallel. SP would be parallel to BD and these would be parallel to QR, right? Yes or no? And similarly we can also have what? We can also have this, let us say, PQ. PQ would be parallel to AC and this would be parallel to SR. Why we would be having these is because of the midpoint theorem. Yes or no? Midpoint theorem. The line joining the midpoints of two sides of a parallelogram. So the line joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side, right? Yes or no? So अभी इसको फिर हम midpoint theorem से भी हम लोग इसको rhombus proof कर सकते थे that PS is equals to what? Half of BD, and similarly QR is equals to also half of BD. Yes or no? So that is how we can also say that PS is equals to QR and PQ is equals to SR. Yes or no? Right? Also, what we can also do that, since this is, let us say, all these sides we have proved parallel, right? All these sides we have proved parallel, so we know that the square, this angle is what, 90 degrees. Let us say the center is O, right? So angle AOB is what? Angle AOB is what? 90 degrees, right? So which implies that opposite angles of a parallelogram are equal. So angle P will also be 90 degrees, right? So if one angle is 90, we proved that PQRS is a rhombus, which means it is ultimately a parallelogram. So all these angles would be what, 90 degrees, because one angle is 90. So R will also be 90. Similarly, S will be 90 and Q will be 90. So we can similarly say that this what PQRS is what? This PQRS is a square, right? So that is why what we can say, that this B option says for answer R. So as of now we have both options correct, that is B also and C also. So right now we are not able to, let us say, differentiate between B and C. So now we shall move to the third part. The quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of pairs of adjacent sides of a rectangle. We have adjacent sides of a rectangle now. We have a rectangle joining the midpoints of a rectangle. For example, we have a rectangle. What is there? Joining the midpoints of pair of adjacent sides of a rectangle. So let us say this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, this is the midpoint, and this is the midpoint. We join all of them. We join all of them, right? So what will happen ultimately? What will happen ultimately? We have to prove it, right? What is this figure? See, what will happen, beta? Let us say this is ABCD, right? And this is, let us say, PQRS. Okay, let us say this is PQRS, right? So we can ultimately say that, let us join these two, right? Diagonals. We shall join these diagonals. See, we can similarly prove this by midpoint theorem, right? We can prove this by midpoint theorem that PS is parallel to BD, right? PS is parallel to BD and half of BD, yes or no? And also QR is parallel to BD and is equals to half of BD. So we can say that PS and QR are equal. In that way, PQ and SR will also be equal. Yes or no? PQ and SR will also be equal. So we can say SP is equals to QR, SP is equals to QR, and we can also say that PQ is equals to SR. PQ is equals to SR. We have already proved that these opposite sides are what? These opposite sides are equal. Yes or no? And parallel also. And parallel. So which means that this is what a parallelogram. Yes or no? This is what a parallelogram as of now. But is it definitely a parallelogram or is it a rectangle? Right? Now, see, these two sides, see beta, this is what, this is a triangle, this is a triangle, this triangle, right? So we can also say that this triangle ASP is congruent to triangle SDR. Yes or no? Triangle ASP and triangle SDR would be congruent. So we can say that SP would be equal to SR. Why? Because see, SD is equals to AS. SD is equals to AS, right? We have, let us say, dr is equals to AP. Dr is equals to AP and angle A is equals to angle D, right? So by SAS we can prove that these two triangles are congruent. Then by CPCD, so which means that all these sides are what, equal, and now they all are parallel to each other. The opposite sides are parallel also. So what we can say? We can say that this is what? This is a rhombus, right? This is a rhombus. So that is why we can say this S option. So C stands for S option. That is why we can say D option would be left with option P itself, right? So it would be a parallelogram. What is parallelogram? Line joining the midpoints of the pairs of adjacent sides of a quadrilateral. Joining the adjacent sides of midpoints, right? So simply opposite sides would be parallel as of now. So up to this process, SP is equals to QR and PQ is equals to SR. That's it. We all will have to know in the last option, right? So that is why it would be a parallelogram. So we have C option as correct. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. In the given figure, ABCD is a parallelogram in which P is the midpoint of DC. P is the midpoint of DC. And Q is the point on AC such that CQ is equals to 1 by 4 of AC. Right? And PQ produced meet BC at R. So we have to see whether this relation between CR and CP is correct from these, or is it none of the above, right? So for this question, what we'll have to do is we have to join this diagonal BD, right? Now, diagonal of a parallelogram bisect each other, yes or no? Diagonal of parallelogram bisect each other, right? So let us say this is PQR, let us say this is S, right? So this AS would be equal to what? SC, right? So we can say that SC is equals to what? Half of AC, right? And since CQ is what? 1 by 4 of AC. CQ is 1 by 4 of AC. So SC is equals to, let us say, we shall place this value, right? The value of AC from here, right? We can place this value of, let us say, AC. So that would be what? 4CQ. So 1 by 2 into 4CQ. So this simply becomes SC is equals to twice of CQ. Yes or no? So now what we can say, that we can say CQ is equals to half of SC. बेटा देखो ये डायगोनल मेरा बाइसेक्ट हुआ, आधे का भी आधा कितना हो गया? 1 by 4 हो गया. That is why CQ is what? 1 by 4. Yes or no? So हमने now we proved what? Now we proved that Q is the midpoint of SC. इससे हमें ये फायदा हुआ, Q is the midpoint of SC. We proved this. Now what is the use of this, beta? See, P already midpoint tha in triangle DCS, right? In triangle DCS, P is the midpoint. Now Q is the midpoint, so PQ would be parallel to DS. Yes or no? Abhi since PQ is continued till R and DS is continued till SB, right? So we can say that PQ is parallel to what? DB. And similarly, PR is parallel to DB, yes or no? What we have, right? PQ is parallel to DS. PQ parallel to DS because P and Q are midpoints. P and Q are what? Midpoints. Midpoints of what sides? Midpoints of CD and SC, right? Midpoints of CD and SC. Right? So by midpoint theorem, we said that these two sides are what? Parallel. Now, which implies that PR would be parallel to DP or BD. So now this will ultimately say what? QR would be parallel to SB because QR and SB are parts of PR and BD. यस और नो? तो ये दोनों पार्ट्स हो गए मेरे किसके, दिस होल साइड के, राइट, दिस होल साइड. So now this Q is midpoint in triangle BSC. So now in triangle BSC, what do we have? We have Q as the midpoint. Q is midpoint. Midpoint of what side? Midpoint of side SC, right? Q is the midpoint of side SC. And also QR is parallel to SB. So which implies R is the midpoint. Yes or no बच्चों? इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? By converse we can say R is the midpoint of BC. अगर बच्चों R midpoint हो गया BC का, if R is the midpoint we can simply say that CR is equals to RB. Yes or no? So that is why third option would be correct. इसीलिए थर्ड ऑप्शन हमारा करेक्ट हो जाएगा, दैट CR would be equals to what? RB by the converse, right? So that's how we will solve this question. See, midpoint theorem का कितना beautiful application था. Very beautiful application of midpoint theorem in this question. Now let us say move on to the next question. So we have to tell whether which of the following statement is true from these. है ना? Which of the following statement is true? If two parallelograms are on equal basis and between the same parallels, then the ratio of their areas is what? 1:2. So this we already discussed in the beginning of the live stream session, right? कि जब दो parallelograms they are on the same basis and between the same parallels, then their area is what? Their area is what? 1:1, right? 1:1 मतलब area is equal. So यहाँ पर तो 1:2 है. This means this is wrong, right? Next, what do we have? Next, we have a quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoint of the sides of a quadrilateral in order is what? A parallelogram, right? So this also question we proved in, let us say, the first question of our session, the last option. That was a quadrilateral formed by joining the midpoints of sides of a quadrilateral. चलो we can do it once again, है ना? We can do it. Let us say वहाँ पर हमने orally कर दिया था इसको. We shall be doing it now in detail. See, let us suppose we have any type of quadrilateral. Let us say this is a quadrilateral. I joined it using the midpoints, है ना? Okay, now I join the midpoints. So simply what we will do, we will simply join the diagonals, है ना बेटा? So we will simply join the diagonals. We will simply join the diagonals. So A, B, C and D. Let us say this is P, Q, R and S. Okay. So since S and P are midpoints, let us say in triangle ABD, right? P and S are what? P and S are midpoints. So SP parallel to BD. Similarly, we can say that QR is also parallel to BD. Then by that logic, we can say that PQ is parallel to, let us say, SR, because PQ is parallel to AC also and SR is also parallel to AC, right? So we can say what? Opposite sides are parallel. Yes or no, bachcho? We can say that opposite sides are parallel. That is why we can say that PQRS is what? PQRS is parallelogram. That is why our second option, this option is correct. So all of these options भी नहीं हो सकता, right? और एक ही option correct होगा. That is why what we can say, B option is correct. I hope you guys understood this. See, this is very easy application of midpoint theorem, right? We have done these type of questions plenty number of times in NCRT. Now what we have in the next question, in the given figure, angle POT is equals to what? 150 degree, and O is the center of the circle. We have to find the measure of RQT and PUT. So how will we solve this question? How will we solve this question? So how we can solve this type of questions? See, we have angle POT is equals to 150 degree and O is the center of the circle. O क्या है? सर्कल का सेंटर है भैया. तो what we will do? What we have to find RQT, right? RQT find करना है, that this angle we have to find out. Then what else we have to find out? PUT. So if you guys remember, the angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle subtended by the arc at any other point of the circle. Angle subtended by an arc at center is double the angle subtended by it at the remaining part of the circle. At the remaining part of the circle, right? So that is why we can say that this POT is what? This POT is twice the angle OQT, right? Or PQT. Yes or no? See, ये angle subtend हो गया center पर. This angle is subtended at the center. Then what is the other angle that is at the remaining part of the circle? This angle, right? So we can say that angle PQT is equal to 1 by 2 of angle POT, right? Angle POT है ना, कि जो आर्क एंगल सबटेंड कर रही है सेंटर पे और जो आर्क सबटेंड हो रहा है, राइट, द एंगल दैट इज सबटेंडेड एट द रिमेनिंग पार्ट ऑफ द सर्कल, वो सेंटर के एंगल का आधा है, राइट, या फिर सेंटर का जो एंगल है वो डबल है, राइट. तो दिस वुड बी व्हाट 1 by 2 into 150 degrees, that would be 75 degrees. So angle PQT is what? 75. This angle PQT. Now बच्चों, what we can also see that this POQR is a straight line, so this angle and this angle would be supplementary, और यही तो हमको फाइंड करना था, that RQT, right? So RQT plus PQT is what? 180. Angle RQT plus angle PQT is what? 180 degrees, right? So PQT की values we know that. So angle RQT would be what? 180 degrees minus 75 degrees, और ये तो 105 degrees होता है, right? So now we know what angle RQT is what? 105. So we have option B or option C to be correct. So which option to select between these two questions? Now we have to calculate PUT, right? So we have to calculate PUT, right? So by the same logic, right? So PUT would also be half of POT. PUT would also be half of angle POT, right? So half of again 150. So that would be how much? 75 degrees, right? So that is why PUT would also be 75. So this means option B would be correct option. Option B would be correct. Okay, so now let us see. Now we should see what is the next question. In the given figure, ABCD is a square. This is very good question. This is very good question, very important question. Okay, this is a very important question. So if ABCD is a square, EF is parallel to diagonal BD and EM is equals to FM. EF is parallel to diagonal BD, right? And EM is equal to FM, right? EM is equal to FM. Then which of the following is correct? Which of the following is correct? So DF is equals to BE. चलो देखते हैं how we can prove DF is equals to BE. Then we have AM bisects angle BAD. चलो अभी फिगर में दिख तो रहा है कि कुछ बाइसेक्ट तो कर रहा है, but how we can prove that, right? Also we have to prove that DF is equals to what? This DF is equals to BE. ये भी कुछ ना कुछ दिख रहा है, right? So how we can prove that these two are what equal, right? So how can we prove that? Let us say these two, let us say these triangles are what congruent, and then ultimately what we can say? Ultimately we can say that DF is equals to BE, right? Okay. So let us consider triangle D. Let us name it as X and let us name it as Y. है ना? Let us name it as X and let us name it as Y. So how can we solve these questions? How can we solve these questions? Okay. See, beta, what all we can do is see, EM is what parallel, right? This EM is what parallel to BD. This EM is parallel to BD, yes or no? This EM is parallel to BD, right? So we can say that this angle is what 45 degrees because this ABCD is a square and BD is diagonal. So this is 45. So this will also be 45. Similarly, this is 45. This will also be 45 degrees, yes or no? ये समझ में आया कि नहीं आया बच्चों? सी BD पैरेलल था किसके? EF के. ये गिवन था क्वेश्चन में. BD was given parallel. Yes or no? So these two angles would be corresponding angles. Angle CEM. Angle CEM is equals to angle, let us say this is a DBE, right? Angle DBE. ये कितना हो गया? 45 degrees, right? Similarly, angle CFE would be equal to what? Angle CDB. That is equals to 45. Corresponding angles हो गया, right? So now what we can say that the sides opposite to equal angles are equal, yes or no? The sides opposite to equal angles are equal. So this side and this side would be equal because these two are 45. Yes or no? CF is equals to FE, we got CF is equals to FE. So now these whole sides are also equal, right? AB is equals to CD, we have no AB, not AB, we have CD is equals to BC, right? We also have CF is equals to FE. We can subtract both of them, right? So CD minus CF would be equal to BC minus FE. So what is this? This is simply DF and this is simply what BE. So that's how we proved them that DF is equals to BE without even proving the congruence. Without even proving the congruence, right? Because we could not do the congruence only because we did not have any other property other than these two angles are equal. This is 45, this is 45. इसके अलावा we did not had any much option to prove that these two triangles are congruent, right? Okay, so first option तो correct है. Now we cannot say that B option is, let us say A option is correct, or let us say C option is correct. We have to check for second option also. We have to check for second option also. So how we can check about second option? See, let us say now we can consider these two triangles. Triangle AFD. Okay, let me just erase all of this. This triangle AFD and a triangle AEB, right? So in triangle AFD and AEB, in triangle AFD and triangle AEB, what do we have, beta? We have, see, AD is equals to what? AB, because this is a square. This angle is what? 90 degrees, right? So AD and AB are same and the angle is 90. So AD is equals to AB and angle D is equals to what? Angle B. Angle D is equals to angle B because this is what? 90 degree, right? And this is what? Side of square. And then what else we have? This FD is equals to B, just now we proved, right? FD is equals to B, right? So we can say that these two triangles are congruent. Triangle AFD is congruent to triangle AEB, बच्चों. By which rule? By which rule? By SAS, yes or no? By SAS, right? So then we can say that by CPCT, this angle and this angle would be equal. By CPCT, this angle and this angle would be equal, right? Angle DAF and angle EAB, yes or no? Angle DAF and angle DAF is equal to angle BAE, right? This we can say that by CPCT. Then also by CPCT हम ये भी तो कह सकते हैं that this side and this side is also equal. By CPCT, AF and FE are equal. AF is equal to FE. Now, see, AF is equals to FE हो गया. So this means triangle AFE is what? Triangle AFE is isosceles. So इसका मतलब तो ये होगा triangle AFE is what? Triangle AFE is isosceles. Yes or no बच्चों? Triangle AFE क्या हो गया? Isosceles हो गया, right? So now, what will happen when this triangle is isosceles, right? See, this is also what, these two are also equal because this is given in the question, right? The third side is the midpoint M, right? So which says that AM would be the median. Since we have FM is equals to ME, right? FM is equals to ME, which implies AM is what? AM is median. We have AM is the median, right? This AM would be median. Now we know that in isosceles triangle, median bisects the third angle, yes or no? Median bisects the vertical angle, we can say. Vertical angle मतलब जो दो sides जो that are equal, the angle made by the two equal sides, right? In an isosceles triangle is vertical angle. So isosceles triangle median bisects vertical angle. So this simply means that what? This simply means that angle FAM is equal to what? Angle FAM is equals to angle EAM. ये हमको मिल गया. FAM is equals to EAM. Now we also had now this angle DAF is equals to BAE, right? Now let us say this is equation 1 and this is equation number 2, right? Yes or no बच्चों? बेटा आवाज आ रही है? Okay, so just give me a second. Let me just check with the audio of it whether this is audible or not. Okay, yeah, we are good. So now what we can say that from 1 and 2, right? This DAF is equals to BAE and this FAM is equals to EM. We can add 1 and 2. We can simply add 1 and 2, right? We can simply add 1 and 2. So FAD और FAM मिलके क्या बन जाएगा? MAD बन जाएगा, right? FAD and this angle will become what? DAM, right? Angle DAM. This will be equal to what? This will be equal to इन दोनों का sum, right? MAE or EAB, right? MAE or EAB, if you can check, right? So DAM is equals to what? BAM. तो ये दोनों एंगल्स इक्वल हो गए. इसका मतलब क्या है? This AM bisects the angle BAD. इसका मतलब तो यही हुआ ना, that AM bisects angle BAD. So now what we can say? We can say that these both options are correct. Yes or no? So इसका मतलब both these options are correct. सी बच्चों, हम बस क्या करेंगे, कुछ नहीं, हमने ये दोनों एंगल्स निकाल लिए, हमने इन दोनों इक्वेशंस को ऐड कर देना है। ऐड करेंगे तो एंगल, ऐड करेंगे तो एंगल, ये वाला एंगल और ये वाला एंगल दोनों इक्वल हो जाएंगे, राइट? वी ऑलरेडी हैड दिस एंगल एंड दिस एंगल इक्वल, राइट? ये वाला एंगल और ये वाला एंगल इक्वल था। देन वी ऑल्सो हैड दिस ग्रीन एंगल, लेट अस से ये दोनों एंगल और ये दोनों एंगल भी इक्वल थे। तो अभी इन दोनों का सम और इन दोनों का सम भी इक्वल हो गया, राइट? सो दैट इज वाई बोथ द ऑप्शंस आर करेक्ट. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Now we have very simple bonus question for today, where the angles of a quadrilateral are what? X plus 20, x minus 20, 2x plus 5, then 2x minus 5. We have to find the value of x. So this is what angle sum property of quadrilateral. So what is that? Sum of all the angle is what? Sum of all the angle is 360 degrees. So that is why x plus 20 plus x minus 20 plus 2x plus 5 plus 2x minus 5, this is equals to what? 360 degrees. So 20 and 20 cancelled, 5 and 5 cancelled. We have 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, x is equals to 360 degrees. So x would be what? 360 degrees by 6, that would be what? 60 degrees. Yes or no? So that's how we solved plenty of questions based on midpoint theorem and the property of, let us say, quadrilateral, that is between the same basis and between the same parallels. Okay. So I hope when you, let us say, when you watch this live stream, so all of you are able to, let us say, move with the flow of mind, let us say, when in the togetherness, right? So we shall be meeting in the next live stream session. It was a, let us say, it was great having my time, right? And let us meet in the next live stream session. Till then, all of you, please take care and please study well, है ना? Keep on doing the hard work and do practice good. Okay, bye.